There's a multitude of ways to start any news broadcast, so let's start it this way. I'll believe it when I see arrests. I'll believe it when I see people in prison. What if I told you you already are? You just don't realize it. Just not in the physical way that you expected to see it. You see, there's multiple ways to defeat an enemy. Some are tangible, some are intangible. If you truly believe that nothing's changing, then I actually kind of feel bad for you. Because things are changing. Because if you haven't seen some of the victories already, then you also haven't seen any of the defeats now, have you? Because you might be a little bit like Obama then. Because he doesn't see anything happening either. But Tulsi does. You know, a person who I actually didn't like much. Tulsi wasn't my favorite person in the world. But then I sat back for a moment and realized what's happening behind the scenes and what she's doing behind the scenes. So, hey, Obama, do you know what comes next? Or do you even know what's happening right now? Because the game's already being played. And out from underneath you, you better take a closer look. Because there's not much more footing left. And that's the story I'll bring you in 1 minute. Anybody who's been watching me for any certain amount of time knows I'm not here to make friends. It's not what the news is about. It's not here to make people comfortable or happy or to tell you what you want to hear. It's to tell you what you need to hear. And so opinions shape over a certain amount of time. And if you read what's happening, sometimes you want to be really upset at the administration. Sometimes you want to be elated. You got to always avoid confirmation bias, trying to read into these headlines what you want to hear. And so yesterday we do a report, DOJ launching grand jury investigation into Russiagate conspiracy. And honestly, the video flopped. Nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to hear it. Pam Bondi, it's a distraction. I'll believe it when there's arrest. I'll believe it when there's prison time. And the video does horrible, unfortunately. It's the way things work. Fine. Maybe it was too soft. Maybe we should avoid everything that's happening in the background. Just ignore the unclassified documents. Ignore all the intelligence we've been given. Ignore all the connection. Ignore James Clapper. Ignore James Brennan. Ignore all the intelligence entirely. The unclassified reports. The whistleblower testimony. The OCI reports or the ICA reports completely. There's nothing happening. People are just going to ignore it. They're going to let it go away. There's no underlying movement whatsoever. There'll be no more whistleblower testimonies. There'll be nobody who's more comfortable bringing information. You guys were right. It's all going to fizzle away. Maybe. Ignore the Department of Justice and the formation of the strike force. It means nothing. It's just covering the Epstein story. Just covering up for it. If you want to take that tact, okay. Let me give you a counterpoint. Things are already happening. Because there's only so many people involved in this network. And once you remove those people, the network no longer exists. And it will be weakened to a point that when you keep stripping away the footing, it can't function any longer. Security clearance is already removed from Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Anthony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, Lisa Monaco, Mark Zayed, Norm Eisen, Andrew Wiseman, Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Fiona Hill, Alexander Vidman. The 51 people that signed the Hunter Biden disinformation letter. On top of who Trump got on the first round. On top of who's coming next. No access to sensitive information. Years and years and years and years are passing that they still don't have any access to that information. And as they dig deeper and they keep removing people, less access to information. The footing's being removed. And the further removed they are from this information, the harder it is to get intelligence. But they've always had inside intel, haven't they? Because they've had their partners But who are these partners? Well, some will contest, and I'll show you, because Tulsi Gabbard's told you who they are. Just nobody's listening. She has provided us the intelligence, soundbite after soundbite, and after she provides the soundbite, she acts on it. Soundbite, action, and it's been very systemic in every way. And I'm going to move forward. I'm going to show you the next example of this. Okay, I got way too into this video, so I actually had to stop at the end of the video and remind myself to ask you a favor. Please subscribe. Double check you're subscribed. You've helped me to beat the algorithm, so I got to do this every day, unfortunately, because I want to continue to beat the algorithm and continue to grow. So if you think you're subscribed, double check. If you're new here, welcome home. Subscribe, please. Share the video. Love the new memberships. Thank you so much for joining as a member. If you want to support me, you're going to see a video later on today at Restricted Republic that will blow your mind. RFK Jr. just put out information that unfortunately there is only one place I can cover it at, and it is at Restricted Republic, and hence why we created the platform. And it will boggle your mind what he just publicly announced. Absolutely boggle your mind, and I'm going to have it for you about midday. I need you there today. RestrictedRepublic.com. Not a long video, but powerful information. And it's about, well, the last pandemic. Information you've been waiting for. Many of you may have suspected. Well, it's now official, and we're going to bring it to you. Get to RestrictedRepublic.com right now. Monthly, annual subscriptions. We'd love to have you there. Lisa Haven on my platform. We purchased, we bought, we run. No commercials, no interruptions. Love to see you there. But now let's get back to this video. The DOJ letter also requests, by the way, let me show you the source of so much of this information because they did an amazing job. I got to go all the way backwards here. DOJ requests DNI documents following Gabbard criminal referral. This was on The Federalist. Amazing article. They did two back-to-back articles. One on July 23rd. Gabbard, we've asked DOJ to investigate criminal implication of Obama's role in Russia hoax. Sure enough, investigation, July 23rd. Then, fast forward, August 5th, yesterday. DOJ requests DNI documentation. Okay, now go back, way back to where we were. A lot of research goes into this, folks. Lots of research. The DOJ letter also requests any and all records relating to the handling by the Department of Defense and Intelligence Community Inspector General of any whistleblower complaints related to the misuse or fabrication of intelligence related to the ICA. So if you remove all the people that can harm you in the intelligence community, you strip them of their security clearance, they can no longer affect your promotion, and you continue to remove them, and you have no fear of them anymore, you're more likely to come forward with information that can indict them. Genius move by Tulsi. I'll get rid of those you fear. So now more whistleblowers suddenly are coming forward. We've seen that through the information Tulsi has provided forward. Magically, more whistleblowers are coming forward. You still haven't seen even a fraction of the information being provided to Tulsi and many of these committees. We've seen, however, the number of information increasing. So the plan is working. Obama doesn't even know how much it's growing. Brennan has no idea how much it's growing. Clapper has no idea how much it's growing. They're just like, we're in trouble here. All a part of the plan. This woman is not very popular right now. Combined with the authorized impaneling of a federal grand jury to investigate the Russia collusion hoax, the DOJ's apparent pursuit of Gabbard's criminal referral suggests the DOJ is aggressively pursuing options to hold accountable any federal officials and potential non-governmental accomplices to their conspiracy. Very key phrase in this letter. Non-governmental accomplices to the conspiracy. Non-governmental accomplices. Does she happen to give us any indication as to who that could be? She does. Through this and her own words. The text of the letter also suggests that the DOJ may be looking into whether any media leaks. And what have they done in the press room? You make a mistake, you're out. Tulsi talks about this. The text of the letter also suggests DOJ may be looking into whether any media leaks related to the ICA may have been criminal. What did she do in her reports on the ICA? She provided specific examples of which media outlets had leaked or were given intelligence. She gives an example. It ends up in an investigation. And she has been very specific about the media. The letter specifically requests all records concerning any investigations into the leaks cited in Gabbard's July 18th memo, which I read for you. Why is that important? Because she has targeted Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird. This was PJ Media. Operation Mockingbird was created in 1940 to spread anti-Soviet propaganda through news outlets. It was later weaponized for use against Americans. Operation Mockingbird is the grandfather of fake news. Operation Mockingbird. So news, the government uses to spread their information, but nothing's ever happening, Justice. Nothing's happening here. But it is happening because now America's eyes are open to this. So much so that Jim Acosta is out there interviewing fake AI. That's how much America's eyes are open to this now. Howard Stern facing cancellation. That's how much America's eyes are open to this now. Stephen Colbert is canceled. That's how much America's eyes are open to this. So don't tell me nothing's happening. It is happening, just not in the way you want to see it. This is how Obama and Hillary don't think anything's happening either. But it is happening. Never happens in the way you expect it to, though, folks. Never happens in the way we expect it to. But it is having an impact. But let's stay on Operation Mockingbird for a minute. John O'Brennan.
So the U.S. intelligence is the most powerful entity on the globe. So many other countries rely on U.S. intelligence that we feed them this information. But if they suspect that anything is being done for political purposes, they're no longer going to look at this information as objective, as apolitical, as accurate information, which really is a shame, because sometimes we need to have a coalition of the willing, coalition of all our partners and allies. And that intelligence really undergirds a lot of the political efforts underway.
Let me paraphrase what he said there. Not even paraphrase. We need to feed intelligence to the media. Intelligence really undergirds a lot of, and if they realize that this is political intelligence we're feeding, then the machine no longer works. John Brennan himself, who has always remained in the lead of this intelligence effort, and who is Tulsi remain focused on? John Brennan. Removing Brennan removes a major cog in the machine. The machine stops functioning as effectively as it ever has. Do you need to take out Obama for the machine to stop working? No. You never have to. You just take out all the cogs in the wheel below it, and the wheel falls. Folks, it's right there. Tulsi knows Operation Mockingbird, which John Brennan just admitted to exist. She talks about it here.
I wanted to ask you, is this operation still going on? Are you aware of the intel agencies working directly with media outlets in order to push prescribed narratives that may or may not be true?
It's something that we've already had to deal with, Benny, within this administration, where there are people within the intelligence community who believe that their will is more important than the will of the American people, and will weaponize intelligence by leaking it to their friends within the mainstream media with the
July 31st, 2025. Says it out loud. Operation Mockingbird, Benny Johnson Show. It's underway. In all the reports, the non-government officials is media. Take out people like Brennan, go after the media, you stop the intelligence machine. The intelligence machine doesn't work without the media. The media, mainstream media, part of Operation Mockingbird, still ongoing with the CIA, is the intelligence community. But who is always the one that should be worried, right? Who is the one that was the ringleader? Has Tulsi ever minced words on this? She never has. Are you referring former President Obama to the DOJ for criminal implications? If Tulsi holds her words to be true, everybody says, and even I say, Obama will remain immune from this. I may be wrong. If my hypothesis holds true, that she has followed through on every single one of her commitments, I would be wrong on my assumption about Obama by her own words. Listen in here.
This new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former
The
President
evidence,
Obama?
correct. The evidence that we have found and that we, the
Former President
evidence,
Obama?
correct. The
Former President
evidence,
Obama?
correct. The evidence that
You mean President Obama? Correct. Correct. Her words, not mine. So I could be proven wrong here. I could be proven wrong.
How President Obama directed that a National Security Council meeting be called to talk about Russia, that the report that came out of that meeting was filled with tasks that were delivered by James Clapper's assistant to John Brennan and to other elements of the intelligence community. John Brennan was the head of the CIA at the time, all saying per the president's direction, per the president's order. And very specifically, they were tasked to create an intelligence assessment that detailed how Moscow tried to influence the election.
I don't know how much more direct you can get. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we just missed it all because it is in her ODNI press room. Pretty clearly, pretty succinctly, there is one person in her wheelhouse of guilt. And it is Obama. It's who she's pointing the finger of blame at. Will it come down to charges? Well, we'll see. I just wanted to make sure we pointed specifically to who she's targeting and to be a little bit clearer about this argument that nothing will ever happen, because it actually already has. She is pulling the rug out from underneath the intelligence community as we speak. She is depowering it in real time. And the weaker it becomes, the easier it becomes to get whistleblowers to come out, more information to come forward, and for the grand jury to become effective and indictments to roll forward. And when indictments roll forward and more people are willing to speak, hence you may see the tangible action you're looking for, but at that point in time, everything has already fallen apart. The rest is just a show. And folks, that's the part I may have been remiss in reporting to you completely the right way. So don't be disheartened. There's no reason to be. We're already seeing the steps in action by watching the media fall apart. And if we tie Operation Mockingbird to the media as part of the intelligence community, you're already watching the intelligence community falling apart in real time. Now we're going to get on to that blockbuster video I was talking about. It'll probably be up midday. Don't miss it, man. Don't miss it. If you're at Restricted Republic, midday, you're going to see this video. It is going to boggle your mind. It is an absolute must-see. If you're not there, get there right now. I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.